Hey guys, so as most of you all know, my name is Ashley, and I will be discussing the content in our research and practice paper about our 390 placement. So my 390 placement is at the Willows at Fritz Farm. This is a nursing home and rehabilitation center in Lexington, Kentucky. It offers long-term and short-term care. On the long-term care, they mostly just help the residents with like daily tasks such as bathing and dressing. They also do med pass on that side, so they make sure that the residents get the appropriate medications every day. On the short-term side, the residents typically come there after they've been in the hospital. So if they went to the hospital to have like a hip replacement, or if they had pneumonia and they were really sick, or if they were injured, if they had a fall and went to the hospital. So they come to us for rehab services. They offer occupational, speech, and physical therapy for those. So these residents are typically over the age of 65 so that they will qualify for Medicare. The facility is somewhat expensive, so if you're not 65 and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, a lot of people just don't use these facilities. So we work with mostly the people on the short-term side of the facility, as well as the therapy. Just about daily. They also receive 24-hour skilled nursing care. And then the main job of the social worker in this facility is to ensure that all the residents' needs are being met, and that when they get discharged, they are prepared to go home, or they're prepared to live in an assisted living facility. We get them whatever they need and prepare that for them. This facility has a budget of about $8,600,000. Most of this is spent on paying the staff members their salaries, food for the residents, because they get fed 3 meals a day, plus any snacks or anything that they want throughout the day. Daily expenses, just anything that they need in the facility, and then mortgage and taxes. So the agency structure is quite complicated, but I'm going to try to just make it pretty simple. So Matt Jones, he is the executive director, and then Kay McCoy is the director of nursing. Matt is technically Kay's boss, but for purposes of this paper, they function as equals in the facility, so we just consider them on the same playing field. And they each have their own staff and different departments under them. So under Matt is marketing, housekeeping, social services, plant operations, business management, and dining. And under the director of nursing is health services, the therapy services, charge and floor nurses, registered nurses, and then the staffing coordinator. This facility uses a lot of different methods of evaluation. So nurses, one way that they evaluate is by, taking vitals and looking at their stats. They go in and check on each resident every day and make sure that they're doing okay. Therapy uses methods such as just observing the residents every day that they see them. So when they go in to do their therapy every day, they jot down notes and look at their progress and see how they're moving along each and every day. And then for social services, there are two main methods of evaluation that I have witnessed. That would be the BIMS assessment and the PHQ-9. So the BIMS assessment is to test cognition. So this is the one that asks the resident to repeat 3 words, and the 3 words that we use are sock, blue, and bed. And so we say those to the resident, and they have to repeat them back to us. And then we ask them the year, the month, and the day of the week. And we jot that down, whether or not they were able to answer that correctly. And then we also, at the very end, ask them what those 3 words were once more to see if they can remember it. And that determines their BIMS score. And that gets recorded into the computer. and that can determine whether or not it's safe for them to go home on their own if they were home by themselves before, whether or not they need a home health agency to come and help them with some daily things. It can also determine how much care they need while they're in the facility, if they need more occupational and speech therapy. And then the PHQ-9, that is an assessment that tests mood. So it tests things mostly related to depressive symptoms. It asks the residents things such as, in the last 2 weeks, have you lost interest or pleasure in things that you would normally enjoy? And that can be answered on sort of a Likert scale. So the answers would be no days in the past 2 weeks, some of the time, some days, more than half the time, and then almost every day or every day. So that is also added up, and you get a score at the end of that. And the purpose of that one is to determine if they need to be put on medication for depression or anxiety. So that is done, both of those assessments are done at the time of admission when they first get to the facility, after 14 days, and then again after 30 days. So this is would be a type of longitudinal quantitative data, and it's probably the most important part of the social worker's job besides discharge procedures, because it really does determine like the amount and type of care that each resident gets. And so through this assignment, I've really learned a whole lot about longitudinal data and the difference between qualitative and quantitative data. And then I've also really learned the importance of research and the relevance of research in the social work field in general. So when it comes to longitudinal data, in this facility specifically, it's really important that we do longitudinal data because we want to know whether or not the facility has been effective in helping these residents. So if we do an evaluation at the very beginning when they first get there, and then another evaluation at the end when they leave, we can know, what has improved, what has gotten worse, what measures did we take that were effective, which ones weren't. And then when it comes to qualitative and quantitative data, both of these are really important in the facility as well. So the two assessments that I explained earlier, that is a type of quantitative data because we turn all those answers into numbers and insert those into the computer, and it gives them a score. And those scores are what we use to base their medications and their care. But we also use qualitative data by going into each resident's rooms and having discussions with them on a regular basis, not only us, but the nurses and the CNAs, and really any other staff member in the facility, even some of the cooks and the housekeeping and everybody that's in and out. They talk to them on a regular basis and get different feedback from them about things as simple as their food was cold when it came out, or it could be as serious as having extreme pain. And then the relevance and importance of research in the social work field has really been brought to light in this assignment, because originally I thought that research was going out into the field and doing experiments and studies on large groups of people mostly. But through this assignment, I've realized that every Wednesday when I'm in my agency, I do some sort of research, even if it's just with one individual client, doing assessments with them. That is a type of research. Just a little 10 question assessment is also research, and that's really important to the day-to-day duties of a social worker out in the field. So that's really all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you all enjoyed.